What's going on? It's your boy DJ Ad McCree. This is one of the lighter parts of the segments for the actual webpage and for the stream. It's another question. Somebody asked me. I apologize. I forgot your name. I really do. I apologize. But this is something that we was actually talking about in the forums, and then we had a super heated argument on Facebook about this, and this is titled "Industry Standard" for a reason. What it is about the industry standard, and it really pisses me off when I'm talking about this because a lot of people kind of like to knock other people for what they use. And then when you ask, and then when you get into an argument with them, their main thing that they like to do is name drop. They don't drop the facts, like this is better because it has this option. That is better because of that option. Like for example, like another industry standard or buzzword or just people that don't know shit. Yeah, I curse. I don't care. I'm really mad about this. I'm still mad about it because, it got to the point to where you had an older producer. He's like in his 30s, just like me. Probably old. He's older than me actually. He was talking about, well, hey, I sat in this producer chair, this big producer chair, and a lot of you cats won't be able to do it. Stay on Fruity Loops. And me personally, I know him. I love him to death. That's my homeboy or whatever. But I feel like stuff like that's got to stop because not to be quite honest, it is actually the people that are using Fruity Loops that are dominating at least 50% of the music industry right now. And industry standard, and this issue actually comes up. The funniest thing, and this is what actually Seamless was talking about in the forum. He's like, and it was something that I noticed too, because coming up when you was in studios around 2001, 2000, in year 2000, the two softwares that you would actually see was Cubase and Logic. Okay, so those are the two dolls and whatnot that you would see the most, and they had the most experience. They had all the features and whatnot. FL Studio was Fruity Loops. It didn't have half the stuff that it had then as it does now, and which now is incredible if it's not above the level of a Logic and a Cubase. And darn sure the plugin the DAW I'm going to talk about, and that was Pro Tools. Now, Pro Tools became the industry standard because of what reputable studios would use it, reputable people would use it, reputable engineers would use it. Once upon a time, early at that time, like Seamless was saying, what made Pro Tools the shit, in which a lot of people that was participating in the forum was talking about it. They didn't know what the hell they was talking about. They was like, but the main thing that made Pro Tools the shit at the time, and once again I apologize for the curse words for all those youngins out there or parents that might want their kids to see it, but this is more of an adult conversation anyways, or 18 year and up. But what made Pro Tools what it was the fact that it had outer gear that synced with the actual computer itself, which it accelerated what the processor could not handle at the time for the computers. That was true for then. Now back then, you had, and it was funny because Pro Tools was like a Apple thing, and everybody was like, Apple is great, and there's there's no good PC out there that could mess with that. And I'm thinking like, okay, there's PCs with the exact same specs. I remember people was talking about how you just couldn't have a gigabyte of RAM at the time. Now there were certain things. I don't even want to talk about Apple and that and get into that because I know there's Apple heads out there, but trust me, your shit is your stuff is not as great as you think it is. There's plenty of things out there that is much better than Apple. Apple is bought because people like Apple. One thing I can give Apple in general is that they do put out quality stuff, and it's very important that you put out quality stuff. They don't cater what Steve Jobs' whole entire intuition about Apple is, and why a lot of people just still do it because it's like a fashion thing, electronic fashion thing, is that he was not trying to make any lower end crap. Like, hey, this is Apple, is good because it works, it's stylish, it's for people that have money that want to enjoy something that will work for the longevity. Funny enough, which you would think that makes sense is in practice, that obviously is why Apple went so far. But yeah. So you had to have the Apple computer that was loaded out, tricked out, and then you had to have the gear on top of that, the outer gear for Pro Tools to work like how it's supposed to, like as if it was the double SL boards, like the analog boards, to where it would be able to calculate and stuff like that. And then at that time, plugins were still too system heavy for Pro Tools to be able to run it. Now that's not the case now. I mean, that's not like that's out the window. Like you could just throw that out the window as far as that being industry standard. It's not industry standard no more because the stuff that I could not do that you could not do on a PC then with plus that, and and if you're a person that actually owns the Pro Tools HDs and all that, dude, it's time for you to sell that. If you can sell it, you better sell it quick because now we're in a generation where computers are super fast. You can broadcast from them in 1080 and probably in 4K because I see people broadcasting in 4K. And it's like everything is possible to do that on your laptop, on a laptop. So you don't have to worry about those things anymore. So but yeah, and then we was talking about like plugins that people overly hype, and then you ask them why are you overly hyping this plugin, and then they can't tell you all the features versus the other one, the plugin that you're talking about. And then when you tell them about the features, they be like, well, I don't know, such and such uses it, so it's good. So that actually lets you know how simple-minded people are, that they will actually allow, because, well, I mean, it's not, if you think about my people, Air Jordans, and people putting on buying a pair of Air Jordans, people buy Air Jordan. Now, if it was somebody like, I don't want to disrespect the NBA player, but if it was like a garbage NBA player, somebody that wasn't good or something like that, nobody would want to wear Air Jordans. If Air Jordans, if Jordan was garbage, nobody would rock his shoe. But since Jordan is so great, people think that they can own up to his greatness or feel that they want to wear his shoe, and they became a collectible because of his greatness, that his legacy that he laid in the league. And it's not, and I'm pretty sure. I'm 100%. Actually, I'm 100% sure. I used to play ball. I used to hoop. I used to hoop in Adidas, Reeboks, and all kinds of shoes. But when I hooped in a pair of Jordans, it was like actually the worst experience out of all shoes that I've actually owned. It did serious. Yeah, I don't care because I have pairs of J's now. I don't buy Jordans anymore anyways. But yeah, just like that concept, like that's how people actually think. Like just because somebody else uses it, that makes it good. Now, in retrospect to music, when we're talking about industry standards and stuff like that, like people was talking about, Dune 2 is so much better than every plugin out in the market. I was like, why is it so much better? Because it sounds deeper. What is sounding deeper? Can you tell me what sounding deeper is in detail? Because I can tell you right now, if you're talking about how wide the sound is, and you're talking about something like, if there's a couple of things that causes deepness. Smart unison, all kinds of different things. Detuning, stereo separation. I mean, these things cause big, deep sound. And then he was like, compression. I was like, dude, compression. All compression is you putting a volume envelope on a particular sound. If you got to know what compression is, that's all it is. This volume is a volume envelope that you're putting on a sound so you can control that sound so it has a constant volume. That's all you're doing with compression. So he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And then I was like, man, Electro X2 is much better. I say the only thing that that Dune 2 does better than Electro X2 is that you have an LFO. Nope. Because I just looked at it in the video. You only have a set amount of LFOs. You can't draw out your LFOs or anything like that. The only huge thing that made Dune 2 so much better than Electro X2 in that aspect was the arpeggiation. And even then, the arpeggiation in Electro X2 was still better. And it was still better because you could do it per layer. You know what I'm saying? And in Dune 2, you can choose to assign it or not assign it to each individual page out of all the 8 pages. So yeah, and I can tell you right now, one of the things I wanted to get into, and I can tell you a real good plugin right now, and I'm just hoping, please, that something goes through today. And I only wanted to go through because I really want Serum. And I'm gonna tell you why I want Serum. Serum is probably one of the few plugins other than Harmor that you can actually add a wave file and it goes in there. Electro X2 cannot do that. And I've tried to add wave files that I've customly made that they said that you can load samples in there, but you only load certain kinds of wave samples. And I'm not going to sit there and convert something because it's not PCM. I'm sorry. If it can load samples, it can load samples, because that's what Serum can do. I've loaded. Matter of fact, that's what Serum and Harmor can do, and I've loaded MP3 files in there, in both of them. And I tried the Serum demo out last night, and there's certain other things that Serum is much better than in almost every other plugin that does do it, especially when you get down to that it has a multi-band compressor built inside of it. That is crazy. You can draw your LFOs. You don't have to select just square, a sine, and a sawtooth. You know what I'm saying? Like you have options. Now, people actually say that, and then somebody was saying that, Serum's the Schmidt. I was like, tell me why Serum is good. You haven't told me why it was good. Why are you considering this industry standard, and why are you saying that it's good just because Deadmau5 uses it? Or somebody else uses it? I don't give a damn about none of them fools. I make trap music. At the most, man, I don't care about none of them cats. You know what I'm saying? Now, no disrespect, I have listened to Deadmau5. One of my favorite albums by him, and probably my only favorite album by him, I always thought was dope, was Random Album Title. That was fire as hell. When it come down for me looking at house music, then seeing a set that he did where I can't even think of the song right now, Scary Ghost or something like that, but it was related kind of to what caught my eyes because I like video game shit. So I saw that, and I saw his performance, and I thought it was live because the whole entire stadium was rocking to him, and he was a DJ. I'm a DJ. I would love for that. But anyway, yeah, it's like, man, don't throw that in. But it made me think, like, shoot, like if people, for the vast majority of people, and I don't even think a lot of people are gonna watch this video. I'll probably get like 40 views on YouTube, shamefully enough. But if you are watching and you listen, all you had to do is get a cosign, because people are so lazy to actually learn how to use certain things for themselves instead of just getting word of mouth and seeing other people with it. That's how the world works. That's how Beats by Dre got popular. They marketed, what they did was they targeted everything that kids like, every person that kids like, and gave them a pair of headphones, a pair of $15 headphones, and then charged $200 for it. You know what I'm saying? And people are still mad about that. I'm pretty sure there's been people that died over some headphones that cost $15. $15. I know the place that makes them in China, and all they do and all we do is put the B on it, bruh. And then people are telling me, hey, that's industry standard headphones, man. They sound great. What? I like, man, I said, do you know that those are pretty much 22 hertz headphones? They're not even true high def at all. Period. Point blank. Like, yeah. But anyways, and you can't even find specs for the Beats by Dre headphones. So that should let you know something about those headphones that people are paying $200 something for. But anyways, that's just my thoughts about like people that like to talk about certain things like that. It's just like somebody that just talks about FL Studio. You know what I mean? Like people talk about FL Studio and say how bad of a program it is, and then when they talk about Ableton Live, I was like, okay, tell me a feature that Ableton Live can do. They were like, oh, FL Studio, you can't freeze your files. I was like, yes, you can. I was like, I can show you how. He's like, but it's not easy to do. I was like, it is very easy to freeze files in FL Studio. Well, you don't have enough. You don't have a lot of good sounds. I was like, yes, you do. I was like, if you actually use Harmor, Centrus, I was like, Morphine, Ogun, which nobody really uses. Don't let me get started on Direct Wave. Direct Wave, they actually give you in FL Studio like legit sounding everything off top without you paying. Then all you do is pay an extra $30 or $40, and then you have a library of sounds. I didn't even know how good FL Studio was, or the cats were down there at making sound design until last year. I was just like digging through. That's like, man, I was like, I've never used any of their plugins in here because I always thought they was garbage. But then when I learned sound design, not even last year, but for the last 2 years, and when I really started looking at sound design in a nutshell, I was like, man, this stuff is real good. Why do people not use it? Why do people always say like, hey, Rob Pappin this, Rob Pappin Blue, and wherever else, Nexus and stuff like that. I was just like, man, they have great plugins, but none of their plugins get real good credit, especially Harmor. Harmor right there, you could literally make your not have any experience in making sounds and come up with a hot sound just by just loading something in the sampler and tweaking some stuff. No knowledge. Don't let me get started if you're a hip hop producer that likes to sample in general. Because you put a sample in Harmor and you chop it up in Harmor, you have some. You probably might change the game, and I'm actually gonna reflect on that and do tutorials on that soon. But yeah, that's basically it, man. I really just ain't gonna get into it further. There was something else I was gonna talk about another time, and it'll probably be Saturday. But it's your boy DJ Al McCree. I appreciate everybody for their time, and I am out.